Hi everyone, today we've got a triangular question. We're solving for an angle and we are solving for the area. So consider the following triangle ABC such that AB is 35 centimeters, BC is 36 and CA is 42. For part A, find the value of CAB. Well, this is referring to this angle between C and then A and then B. So this angle in here that I've just drawn in. We're trying to find that angle. If I look at the top right-hand side, this is from the formula booklet. This is not given to you in the question. So in an exam, I would refer to my formula booklet and copy these parts down. Now, the cosine rule, you're given two different variations. You could use either one, you're going to end up with the same answer, but this second one that I've just underlined, this is the one that you use if you're solving for an angle. Now, the first thing that I like to do is actually just relabel my diagram because it gets confusing with A's, B's, and C's that don't match up to what our formula has. So if you notice on the right-hand side at my formula, I'm just going to kind of draw an arrow to what I'm talking about. It says cos of C. Now this capital C, all of the capital letters represent the angles and all of the lowercase letters represent the side lengths. But this C here is referring to the angle that we are trying to figure out. So if I go back to my diagram, I'm actually just going to draw a line. Don't scribble these out completely because you need to make sure you're answering the question. But instead of that A, I'm just going to relabel that as C because going back to my formula, it just makes it easier in my head. So if you don't like doing it like this, then do it a different way, completely fine. If that is capital C, then the lowercase c is where the 36 is. This top one can be A and lowercase a, and then B and lowercase b. Again, the reason I'm doing that is because my formula gives me cos of capital C. So now, part A, I'm not going to copy out that entire formula. I'm going to instead fill in the values. So I've got cos of C, which again, if I get my highlighter out, cos of C is that angle in there that I've just highlighted. Cos of C equals A squared. Well, now I go back to my formula. A squared is going to be 42 squared plus B squared. B is going to be 35 minus C squared, which is going to be 36, divided by 2 times A, which is 42, times B, which is 35. And before I type all this into my calculator, actually let's type it in. So what do we get as an answer for this? I'm going to have 42 squared all of that divided by bracket 2 times 42 times 35 bracket. That equals that number. Now on my back to my working out, that's not what C is, that's what cos C is. So if I wanted to get C by itself, then I need to take the inverse of that entire top bracket, which we just worked out was 5758. When you're working this out, make sure you don't round it. Now I'm going to back to my calculator, shift, and then press the cos button. And now I'm going to press shift and then the answer button. I press equals, and we get 54.9 degrees. Oh, sorry, no, we don't. We get 54.8. My mistake. 54.8 degrees. That's to 3 significant figures, which is consistent with what you need in the IB. You need the units, otherwise you don't get full marks. That's for part A. For part B, we need to use this area of a triangle, a half AB sine C. It's not a half base times height. I mean, you could use that, but we don't know what the perpendicular height is, so we need to use that top formula for non-right angled triangles. So we've got equals a half AB sine C. Again, why I liked to relabel my diagram in the first place is because we figured out what the angle C was. So we're going to have equals a half times A is 42 times B is 35 times sine of 54.8. Type all that into my calculator. Equals 600.6. Now again, 3 significant figures is the go-to for the IB. So this would be 601. And the units, back to the question, even though the diagram doesn't have the units, the worded part of the question has centimeters. So the area is going to be in centimeters squared. You need to make sure that you're hitting all of those things. So for part A, you get a mark for the correct substitution. You get a mark for the correct answer. You need to make sure you have units. For part B, the correct substitution and the correct final answer. Again, you need units for that one.